and welcome. Sorry, I stole that from Roof One. Hi, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Sit Down and Shut Up. I'm Juzzy. We'll be going through a Cammy player today, named Splash. Splash has been a member of Newbie Fight Club and Fight Rise for some time now, I believe. So, they've been having some, if I look at what they posted, let's take a look here. I don't think they posted, actually. But they were interested in one of the sessions like this, so I guess it's their time to do it. Awesome if you guys noticed, but we do have like official Fight Rise openings and stingers and stuff like that. We even have the Fight Rise logo in the middle there. So yeah, this is definitely a great opportunity for folks in Fight Rise. If they wanted to get something like this, please let me know. So we're getting Splash on in just a second here. Let me get into the voice.
Hello.
Hey Splash, how's it going?
Good, I'm just booting up the game.
Perfect. So Splash, while that's happening, tell me a little bit about what you've been struggling with. I didn't see you post it, but I know you asked for training earlier. So what kind of
Should
things
I
are you
have
for?
posted like replays or anything?
No. I mean, when I started the threads, it was like, oh yeah, post your rank and your CFN and like one or two things that you're looking to improve on. This
Oh,
is
and I just
after.
didn't
Yeah.
post
This is
anything.
after. Like I didn't before I made it formal. So
Oh, got it.
yeah,
So let's is this being streamed
it is. Yeah,
or no?
it'll be
Oh,
streamed.
okay.
Yeah.
So I should sound semi-intelligent. So one of the things that I weirdly okay. Let me accept the invite.
Mhm.
One of the things that I've weirdly been struggling with is actually doing motion inputs.
Okay.
So I'm on modern and I've been incorporating more motion inputs into my play, and I don't know why I feel like I keep dropping these. It might just be just practice more of them.
Hmm.
Another thing is on modern Cammy, I feel like my offense is very linear.
Okay.
You've played against me and know how reliant I am on crouch medium kick drive rush because I don't have crouch medium punch,
Hmm.
but it ends up becoming dangerously predictable at certain ranges where someone will just know, oh, this is the appropriate range to play around.
Okay.
Like, I'm able to shut you down.
Okay.
Um, I guess the third thing to have three is getting too impatient. There are times where I will just decide, like, or fuck it, I'm going for sweep, or I'm
Okay.
going for spiral arrow, or I'm going for a risky option
Gotcha.
when I should be more patient and neutral and be like, nope, I just need to chill out rather than trying to end the round.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So I'll pay attention to those things. See where you're at with that.
Wait, can you give me one
Sure.
second? I'm hearing a lot of notifications go off on my phone.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I'm back.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
uh,
Sorry.
no worries. No worries, man. It's a casual training session, right? It's not really. It's just it's streamed because it looks like a TV quote unquote show, but
Hmm.
it's for everyone in the community, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'll say is that we'll, for the benefit of the stream, people keep tuning in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for first to three. We'll
Okay.
play, and I'll kind of get a sense of where you're at. I'm gonna deafen in Discord during this, so you won't be able to hear me talking. I'll trust you to keep the stream muted while this is going if you're watching it.
I'm not
And
watching it.
cool. And then we'll do a replay review of one or two of the games. Try to pick out certain points where I thought either this is kind of exactly what you're talking about, or maybe there's something else that maybe needs to be cleaned up, something like that. and then maybe do a little lab work depending on what situations we want to try to figure out, or if there's something that you're kind of struggling with or want to see. And then we'll run a first to three after to kind of see if that makes a difference for you or not, or if the approach that maybe we come up with for you works better against me in particular, right? Yeah.
Should I mute myself during the games or no?
No, you can talk all you want. I'll be deafened in Discord during the first to three, so
Right.
that I won't be able to hear you. You can mute or unmute. It's up to you, and then we can chat the rest of the way. So even during the final first to three, we'll probably be talking too. At least that's how it's been so far.
Okay, sounds
Works.
good.
All right, cool. So go and queue up either side, whatever you're more comfortable with, and I'll queue up on the other side. Good luck.
Yep, good luck.
All right. Hopefully the game music isn't too loud. Lately it's been kind of loud. And I was watching old VODs and was like, oh, it's kind of loud. Ooh. There's that sweep they were talking about. Are they going to reversal again? Maybe. Maybe this time they reversal, huh? Oh, no reversal. Okay. So I think that round, they maybe got a little impatient there. They got ahead a little bit, went for a sweep, and then kind of fell apart at the end, right? Oop. Oh, there's a reversal. Reversal again? Oh, wake up buttons, and I messed my... Oh, that was sick. Okay, so that time, what's happening, I think, is that they're wanting to back up after any sort of blocked pressure. So, like, if I... Well, I can't jump in against Modern, right? But if... Ooh, there's that issue with the motion input, I think. Tech. Okay. So it looks like they want to mash, or they want to press buttons on defense, and they're trying not to, right? Clearly. But what's tough is that since I'm landing hits like that and stuffing what they're doing, I think they're feeling a little uncomfortable in this situation. Oh, that's a tough setup. Okay. Yeah, see, if I delay my crouching medium kick. Yeah, so what's happening there is that they're going for like a pressure situation, or they're trying to stagger. But then when they're minus, they try to press another light button, and that's getting stuffed by my crouching light punch. Oh. Okay, they're pressing less buttons now. Oh, very nice. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, trying to move forward there is tough. Okay. Wake up buttons again. That's actually kind of smart. Bit of a panic DI, I think. But we can ask him about it. I should be DPing those. Terrible. Oh, wake up button again. Okay. No, they're... Oh, that was nice. They were mashing jab, though. You kind of saw it happening there. I'm guessing it's in a response to try to get me to stop. If like try to stop me from walking up. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. I think I have an idea. We can figure that out, though. Hold on, different here. Okay, so how was that for you? How do you think that went?
I thought it went okay. I think that the thing that I was noticing was again like the spacing where it became very difficult to. Oh, you just dipped. Okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna go into replay. So.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
gonna
Should I
stream
start watching the stream or?
I'll stream it in Discord so that it's synced up.
Oh, okay. I'll leave
Yeah.
this. Yeah. So it felt like once you were like, oh, Flashlight's playing at one particular range, it was like, okay, great. I'm just not gonna let you play that range. That was my impression. I think the other thing actually, which I was not thrilled about, but was maybe instructive, was again just me dropping stuff. But that might be because this is like my first game today, so
Sure.
I think usually I would have fewer of those sorts of misplays.
Oh yeah, I mean, I figured, you know, first game, I think I even mentioned in the stream, I was like, oh, I think that was a motion input that was supposed to be like a spiral arrow or like a DP or something, and you just kind of jumped backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like,
There were a couple of misplays that was definitely
so we'll add this one, and we'll take a look at this one. All right. So I will say that I think that you're kind of spot on, and where I think you're struggling a little bit is that there's a space you like to play at, and that space happens to be right outside of crouching medium kick range. That's where you want to be, which is kind of funny. So let's see what we get here, right? So that's a nice DP. So it feels like the range you want to play at is actually a little bit outside of this, or a little bit inside of this, right? Here you tagged me walking back, which was great. I think I tried to do something here and I missed it. But it feels like you're spot on. It's the spacing that you want to play at, where once I recognized that, it was kind of like, okay, if I play around that, you kind of are not sure what to do, right?
Yep.
So right there, I think
that's me. What was I trying to do there? Jesus.
Dive kick? I'm not sure.
No, wait. If you back up like 1 second, I'd probably know.
Let's see. So nice DP.
So
there.
Crouch into. Oh, it's supposed to be back medium punch. That's back medium punch. Yeah,
okay.
that's what
back
that's
medium
supposed
punch
to
target
be.
combo. Gotcha.
Yeah.
The launcher into the dive kick. Yeah, and then you can.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, and instead okay, fine. That's just a first game of the day.
Yeah, that's just lab work, honestly. You said you started recently more incorporating motion inputs, and I think that's just a matter of time before that becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
For you. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just maybe spend a little more time warming up in game, like before you hop into ranked or something. Obviously, something like this is not a big deal, but when you start doing the rank grind or whatever. Then there's the sweep we're talking about.
Yep.
I think this was fine though, honestly. Like this spacing is a little tough for me to punish. I probably could have punished it if I went for a sweep there. Something that's low-key kind of funny about Cammy's sweep is that I can never recognize when it's whiffed. Because if you look at the animation, right? And this is a total tangent to me thing. But like she doesn't, when Ken or the Shotos sweep and it's blocked, you see them stop moving, right? With Cammy, she just keeps going. So I'm like, oh, my brain doesn't recognize that. Anyway. Right, so you're trying to jab something. I was trying to do a crouch medium kick and a Jinrai came out. No big deal. Okay, right here. So I kind of brought this up in stream, and something that I think is something a lot of people struggle with is that the brain wants to back up here, right? So if we take a look at what happened here, right? You just got hit.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of jabbed something. I think you hit a jab. Let's see. Okay. So right here, right? So it looks like you're trying to back up, or maybe
Yeah.
even trying to parry or do something here. But you're essentially this spacing right here is very uncomfortable for you, I think, right? Like when this
Yeah.
is happening, you're like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here, or I gotta do something, right?
Hmm.
So against a player that'll notice that, so what I did was I basically just waited a little bit after the hit, waited a little bit, and then hit crouching medium kick, right? And it happens to tag you as you're trying to back up,
Hmm.
right? And that's something that I think is very difficult to not do because that spacing is uncomfortable. But what I would say is that when you're in a space like that where backing up could get you tagged like this, especially against a character like Ken who gets a huge reward for this, right? Consider just continuing blocking, right? Because if you look at the situation here, right, you can't get thrown, right? You're outside of throw range,
Right.
right? I'd have to walk up for me to throw you, right? Granted, I just hit you, and it's not really anyone's. You're -3 right now because you just got hit, right? So it's not your turn really, but it's not really. I can't really punish you with anything, right? If I wanted to throw you, I'd have to walk up and throw you, right? In which case you could jab or something like that, right? But recognizing this and maybe standing your ground a little bit here is going to be better, right? Because if you consider the alternative, you block, right? You blocked right here.
Hmm.
Or you press the faster button like a jab or something, right? Because crouching medium kick is 7 frames, right? So if you press your jab in this situation here, I mean, you're minus here, right? But it would trade, right? And then now you don't have to
Hmm.
deal with the full mix-up, or sorry, the full combo, right? Or you don't press anything, you block. I do crouching medium kick into drive rush, and then you have to deal with the drive rush pressure, right? But I think that's a better situation than just getting hit, right?
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind as we go through the sets and take a look at how often I do this to you. It
I
happens a
think
little
it's going
bit.
to be a lot.
Yeah. So it's just something you need to work through, right? I think it's something that in Diamond especially, you're going to be in a lot of these uncomfortable space situations where the other player is not going to necessarily be afraid to press, right? So because I was plus there and I just hit you, right? So I know I'm plus, so I could do something like that. And at worst, I would trade, right? So something to keep in mind.
Hmm.
So we go through the combo here. So this is a setup. You can't press there after a heavy Tatsu, or sorry, run Tatsu and the heavy Jinrai. This low is going to come in meaty, right? So that's why it hits you counter hit, right? You try to mash jab, it
Hmm.
looks like.
I think this is another impatience thing, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So you just got hit, right? Twice, right? Technically, you got hit
Hmm.
by that Jinrai randomly, kind of, because you jabbed, it missed, and then you got hit by the Jinrai. And then you got tagged with the crouching medium kick, right? So here, if you're trying to mash out something, so I think like when I talk about setups and stuff, when you see people doing random stuff after a knockdown, assume it's a setup of some kind, and maybe don't
Hmm.
press right away, right? Unless you know how to deal with it, right? Unless you know like what it looks
Right.
like and are able to blow it up, try not to press right because you take a counter hit here. This is actually decent damage for me. Could have gotten more, but it's okay. And then good tech here, I think. Recognizing, defensive option here is fine. You had just gotten hit twice, so I think a delay tech is fine. I went for a throw and all that, so that's okay, I think. And then again, right, you kind of walk
We're
up.
in the exact same
Yeah,
spacing.
you
Yeah.
walk up and try to tag me, right? And then here is something interesting. So I had noticed you started going for drive rush jab here. Right?
Yeah.
So you're plus in this situation. I think you should be +3 or something like that, I believe. Right? But somehow, when I challenge,
Oh, I'm +2, it looks like.
yeah, at least, right?
Yeah.
Plus,
Well, I'm
okay,
just looking
+2.
at the,
Yeah,
it
plus
says
two.
on the
Yeah, you're
frame
right.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right here it's +2. But somehow my jab beats you here. Right? So I challenge, and it beats you, right? Somehow. So what I'm thinking here is that when you're doing these kind of strings where your drive rush is blocked, you've recognized it's blocked, right? You see
Hmm.
it's blocked, and you do like a jab. You want to you want for a throw here? It looks like, right? Is that what this
Yeah, I
looks like
think I
right?
did
Okay,
jab throw, it looks like.
okay, cool. So I think that's fine, actually, right? So this was on me deciding to challenge your walk up, right? And maybe there's something in the set that I noticed, like last game or something, or something else. But I apparently had noticed that when you do a drive rush jab, you immediately go for throw right after, right? I think you did it maybe you did it more than once, I don't know, but I'm clearly
Yeah.
challenging here, right? So something to keep in mind is as you go through the set, right? When you're playing later on, if you see people challenging you like this, you can go into more light pressure, right? So like if I take this right here, So here's the drive rush, right? Right. So because I'm doing a delay jab here, right? Trying to time a jab so that it would beat you as you walk forward. If you do that light string I just did, it kind of negates that, right? So now like you get to apply that little bit of light pressure and you don't get and my challenge doesn't come out, but you still kind of quote unquote win the interaction, right? Because you don't
Or
have
at
to deal
least
with
it resets back to
exactly, right?
like, yeah.
Maybe you spent some drive, and that's what it is, right? You went for the drive rush there. But at least you're not getting counter hit into full combo, right? That's what's so killer about
Yeah.
that situation, especially against a delayed jab, right? In that scenario,
Yeah.
so you can go
Hold
for
on. I realize what is constantly pinging. Give me
mhm,
one sec.
sure. I guess it checks out in chat just because it's BRB. All right,
Back again. I
cool. Uh, so yeah, what I was saying is that the delay jab is what you can do the light pressure to get around that. Now you won't know if I'm delay jabbing or delay teching or anything like that, but at least you won't get counter hit, right? If
mhm.
that's what you think I'm doing. Alternatively, you could just go for a throw, right? So right, and the reason that works is because I can't tech and delay jab at the same time.
So you're saying drive rush cancel and then just throw.
Just throw, yeah.
Okay.
It's a way to mix up what's happening, right? So
Hmm.
you already are kind of coming in, right? And people, depending on their defensive option, may delay tech you right there, and then you get delay. It gets the throw gets teched, whatever, right? It was a driver
Right.
from block, so you have to try to do something, right? But if you think that the opponent is doing a delay jab like I was doing to you there, like you go for a jab, you try to walk up throw, and for whatever reason you always get hit, you can try to go for a driver's throw, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because you're
That's good
not,
to know.
yeah, right.
Well, I was gonna say because you can, if I do drive rush, you can ODDP it if I go for the throw, but
Mm-hmm.
not if I go for the jab.
Mm-hmm.
Like the jab will interrupt it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess then it's a failure of me adapting because it's not like, the throw is unsafe in some ways, but like if I'm getting repeatedly jabbed out of it, it's like, okay, you need to stop. You need to switch up what you're doing post drive rush
Yeah,
then if it's
exactly.
on
Right? I
block.
mean, unfortunately, the nature of rock paper scissors is that you throw rock and sometimes they throw paper, right? Like you do the
Right.
drive rush and I match DP and it just happened to be the time you try to go for throw. That's life, unfortunately, right? But in this situation, if you're recognizing a specific defensive option being selected by the opponent every time in this situation, changing up what you're doing might be the way to go, right? Because now maybe the
Hmm.
next time it's blocked, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna go for a throw, so I'm gonna try to challenge with like a jab, and then I get stuffed, right? Or I try to go
Right.
for a reversal, and it gets interrupted, or not interrupted, but like it doesn't come out right away, and I'm mashing it, don't recognize it, and the jab keeps you safe, or something to that effect, right? Something different will happen.
Yeah.
But that's just something I think as you climb more up into higher diamond, like where you're at diamond 3, diamond 4, people are going to start changing their defensive options, right? They're not always going to
Yeah.
delay tech, right? So so yeah, that's just one something to keep in mind, right? For that situation. Instead, you do this, right? You go for throw, and then I time a jab to come out when a delay tech would normally happen, and then I'm ready to punish with a crouching medium punch, right?
Hmm.
Okay. I think you go for a jab here, it looks like. Let's see.
Yeah. That is so I try to throw and then I wake up jab. Yeah.
Okay.
That's dubious.
Yeah, I think here. Let's see. Holding forward, down, back. Okay, this is fine actually. So taking the throw here is probably okay. If you look at the life situation here, it doesn't change how many interactions you have to lose, right? It's really
Right.
one interaction for Ken in this situation, given the meter and all that. So taking a throw is okay. I think I don't hate this decision. But then you went for, I guess you tried to push a button. Maybe it was after he got thrown. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
It's okay. I mean, if you like, this happens to me all the time too. Like, I'm getting thrown, and I'm just putting my hand down or
Hitting
hitting
stuff.
stuff, right? Yeah. You defend that well. Defend that well too. Okay. Try to poke out. Jump. Ooh, what happened there?
Yeah, that's a good question. What did happen there? It looks
So,
like I went for a throw, which
oh, you went for a jab.
uh,
I got stuffed. Okay.
I just okay. I got
Yeah, yeah.
counter hit.
So what happened
Oh,
is,
it is counter hit
yeah, what
jab.
happened here is that I'm +4 after the drive rush.
Hmm.
So if we look at this, right, that's on block. In this situation right here, I'm actually +4.
Yeah.
And then if you try to jab, it'll get stuffed. Yeah. So that's what happened, right? So it was basically plus frames that you tried to press on.
Hmm.
Yeah, just got to be mindful about that, especially after drive rush. Almost every move in the game after a drive rush is going to be plus, right? I
Hmm.
think the exceptions are like Guile, right? He has some random moves that aren't actually plus. Maybe JP, I think, in some situations. But you got to be careful when you're trying to mash out of certain situations. You have to have a reason why you want to press the button, right? In this case,
Right.
I think after this game, for the most part, I have not been going for like a walk-up throw or anything to that effect, right? I had just been kind of pressing additional buttons with my plus frames, right? So until you start recognizing and seeing that I'm changing up my offensive pattern, the defensive pattern here should just be to block, basically, right? Like block
Yeah.
on plus frames.
Especially
Yeah.
because you just burned yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
should be like, okay, I'm gonna chill for one interaction, and then I have drive, and you don't.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You have one OD move in the tank, right? You have level one. You'll have enough drive probably for a drive rush in a little bit here because I can't extend anymore, right? I can't
Hmm.
continue pressure without drive necessarily here.
Right.
But instead, you take the counter hit, and then that leads to the counter hit
That's
combo,
just
right?
death. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Again, I don't hate the defensive decision to mash on my plus frame there. If I had given you a reason to do that, right? A big reason would be if I did that drive rush medium punch and then I walk up and throw you, right? Like normally I'm not
Hmm.
in range necessarily to get that throw. So I have to walk up or move forward to do it, right? So if I'm doing that and you're recognizing that, then mashing is 100% the way to go, right? Because you'll hit me out of the throw. You get a counter hit confirm combo potentially, 3-hit combo into DP or a spiral arrow or something like that. And that would be good for you, right? That would
I
stop
think
what
the
I'm doing.
problem is defaulting to mashing.
Yeah, yeah. Choosing to mash initially is tough in this game because of how tight offenses are, especially at Diamond Plus, right? I'm sure you run
Hmm.
into, guys where if you mash against them, they will destroy you, right? Because their offense is so tight, right? They're able to land their meaties and it's always, frame perfect or whatever. So defaulting to mash is a little tough. I think defaulting to block is probably a safer way to go. At least
Hmm.
until, again, I've shown you a good reason why you should be mashing, right? All right. There's also good recognition on your side that I'm not anti-airing correctly, so or
Yeah.
properly. So good times to start jumping, right? If I'm not reacting, I didn't parry, I didn't DP, I didn't do anything, right? I just blocked. So that's a good time to start jumping for sure. But it looks like you got hit here. So what happened?
Oh, I tried to crouch medium kick.
Yeah. Okay. So that's tough, right?
That feels too close.
Yeah. And what's tough about this too is that you land a jab, right?
Mm.
So you're minus here, right? You're gonna be minus. Was it -1? -2, right? So pressing a crouch and medium kick here is a little tough, especially if I've like me as the Ken player or the player on the other side know that you're minus here, right? So think of it this way: like you jab here, what would the follow up be from the Cammy player at this point, right? They could try to walk up throw,
Hmm.
or they could try to press another button, or they can just do nothing, right? And crouching medium kick from Ken beats all of those things, right? Except blocking, obviously block
Except
and
block,
yeah.
right?
But it'll cause you get put into a mix up by Ken at that point, right? So crouching medium kick will beat both the walk up. It'll also beat a button that you push at this point that will hit me, right?
Right. Because I'm out of range
You
of
get a little bit
anything
out of range
fast
for the
enough.
faster buttons, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially because you're modern, so you don't have crouching medium punch either, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have that 6 framer that'll let you get through there. So and if we get through that, right, and we look at this, what happens here, right? You try to press, and again, I don't necessarily hate that move, like that decision to press there. if the opponent has been super passive, right? If they just take the jab and do nothing, then that crouching medium kick will probably land. Maybe it's blocked. Maybe I back up. I don't know. But because if I back up there, you land the crouching medium kick, drive rush, right? And then you get a full combo. So it's just tough when the opponent recognizes your minus frames, right? Which may not be happening at Diamond 3 as much, right? I'm sure I'm challenging like your pressure way more probably than most people run into in ranked, most likely. It would be my assumption.
Yes.
So take a full combo here, right? So this is another setup.
Every Cammy pose is so hilarious.
I know, right?
Doing a handstand.
I know, right? Like she gets up with such flair, right? Flourish. Right? Look at that.
Like, okay.
Right, anyway, so this is a setup here. So again, you default to mash again. Looks like you're trying to do the auto light. It's very difficult to mash in wake up situations, right? I think we kind of covered that, right?
Yeah.
But this was a setup for sure on Ken's side. So even if I hit, right, I get a full combo, counter hit combo. But if I on block here, Ken's actually going to be +2, right? So it's a meaty situation for Ken to stand heavy punch. So if you see a Ken do that, like stand medium kick whiff after a Tatsu, it's for you guys in chat. If you see that happen, assume that a stand heavy punch is coming your way, and it's going to be plus if it lands, right? So you can't press there unless you want to blow it up with reversal. Then you take another loop here, right? And then you decide to reversal here. And this is actually a good decision, right? And let me tell you why. You've just taken a couple of hits, right? You've taken some pressure here. But the biggest reason why I think reversal makes sense for you to do it is because of this right here, right? Your bar, right? You have a ton of bar to work with, right? And I've obviously been just going for pressure, Oki, pressure on Oki, like media on Oki, all that stuff. So making the decision to reversal there is probably fine. If it was me though, I would have reversaled the interaction before, right? So you had taken the one hit the combo, you'd taken the setup or whatever. I would have reversaled at that point potentially, right? So just something to think about. You want to vary that timing. I think you have a decent sense of when to reversal, because I think you get me on most of them actually. So I think that it's an option where you could have reversed a little bit sooner in this situation given what I'd been showing, but it was fine to do it here too, right? Because it's gonna blow me up, right? You get out of the corner because Cammy has a broken reversal, and now you're in a much better situation, right? Good jump.
I get hit by that, which
Yeah, Jinrai, if you block the medium, just try not to back up, right? I think in this situation you can block low into block high, right? The fuzzy guard thing that everyone talks about, you could do that. I think that would work here. But just be wary. But if you're going to do that, block low first and then back up, right? The reason for that is because the low hits first, right? So if you look at the frame data itself, the low will hit sooner than the overhead would, right? I think there's a number of frame difference on when they would hit. So obviously Ken can't do both at the same time. So since the low comes first, if you are going to want to try to back up after blocking a medium Jinrai, block low for like a split second in that time where the low would have come out, and then you can start backing up, right? Because at that point you're going to block the overhead if it comes out, or if he does nothing, you'll back up out of pressure, right? So something to keep in mind when you face Kens in ranked and all that, who spam Jinrai all the time. And then you get hit again because you're trying to back up out of pressure, right? So hit, and then you try to back up again, right? Right, and I do that same thing again with a delay medium kick, right? So it's just something that
you getting mauled by delayed medium kick.
Yeah, it's something you have to get a sense of, right? I'm sure it's a habit that is developed over time because no one was really punishing you for it, right? Like a lot of times I feel like in Diamond, and even maybe in Lower Master, that situation right there, no one presses, right? You both back up or nothing happens, right? So the way I see it is that a lot of these habits form because they've been working, right? And they've continued to work for you for however long, so of course you're going to do them, right? It's just a matter of recognizing that that's happening to you, and then you can back up, right? There's nothing wrong with trying to create space, right? But if you're recognizing that the opponent, like you've been tagged like 3 times by this now, and you're like, okay,
No.
maybe I shouldn't back up anymore, right? Like maybe I should just
Yeah,
wait
yeah,
here, or maybe try to press a button, right? Even though your minus there is -3, you can try something, or just block, right? Just
yeah.
wait, because what'll happen, right? If I continue trying to press buttons against you there, you'll block it out and have an opportunity to get back into it. But instead, you take another a Jinrai hit here, right?
Oh my god, you actually anti-aired for the first time in a set. I
I
was
know, and
like,
it was
shit.
it was against a drive. Yeah, I think it's tough to jump fireballs when the Ken is drive rushing behind it. Because nine
Hmm.
times out of 10, I'm buffering a DP there. So
Oh, okay.
so I buffer a DP during the drive rush, and if you don't jump, I just press something else,
Mm.
right? So something to keep in mind. But that's kind of a higher level I don't know if a lot of people do that. I don't know if it's essentially a higher level thing.
No, I didn't even know that you typically buffered DP behind the drive rush. I was just like, you hadn't hit a single DP until
Yeah,
then, and so it seemed like a reasonable
to
option,
go for it.
but
Yeah,
instead it was the worst time to be doing this,
yeah.
apparently.
So you can see right here, right? Like drive rush,
Yeah.
and then I'm pushing this. What's up, Zane? Zane in the chat saying what's up. Also, Splash, by the way, Lost Faith Halo is really rooting for you today. So,
Well, I'm sorry to let her down. I don't know.
but yeah, seriously though, good recognition of my inability to crosscut here, or at least that I'm not anti-airing.
Hmm.
So that's good on your part. Until I show you that I can do that, abuse the crap out of that, right? I don't care what anyone says. If you're a jumpy Cammy or whatever else, if they can't anti-air you, jump at them, 100%.
Hmm.
Dive kick at them, whatever you need to do to get them so that they can't comfortably play neutral. So this was really really good on your part. But unfortunately, you get hit by
Yes.
the stagger pressure, right? So
And I should have whiff punished that missed throw too.
yeah, the one here, we were backing up though,
Yeah.
right? So it's tough to recognize
Yeah.
that happened. But yeah, if you see that happen, you're backing up, right? You're in neutral basically, so you could have pressed something there potentially, like
Yeah.
stand heavy punch, something like that. But that's
I
tough.
was thinking sweep would hit at that
Sweep
range.
would work too. Sweep would work there too. Yeah. So you go for 2 jabs here, and then crouching medium kick, right? And then me doing what I had been doing pretty much all set, challenge, right?
Yep.
So then take that. So yeah, trying to press crouching medium kick after jabs like in your minus really only works if the opponent is being passive, right?
Hmm.
Since I've been challenging you in a lot of those cases, it's difficult to continue pressing there. So what you can do in that situation, if I'm hitting you with delay jab, is you can actually back up a little bit. Oh, and the replay's gone. But you can back up a little bit and then press a stand heavy punch, something like that, right? Let's see. I'll put it in the lab, and we'll see in the lab. So I'll put it there. Otherwise, I have to go through the whole replay again.
Hmm.
So those are the two things, or at least one of the major things is that you gotta, or two things, sorry. One is you gotta be careful about that kind of uncomfortable spacing on the timing in which you back up. And then the second thing is if you are going to be minus, like after a couple of jabs, be wary of trying to go for a crouching medium kick right after it, because it's a very large gap where I could actually press like a 5-framer or something and it would stuff it, right? It's
Hmm.
tough. I use jab because I'm old and can't react to things like that well, so I have to
Right.
use a 2-hit combo for me to actually do it. But there are players out there that can single hit confirm something like a medium, and then you take a full damage for that. So
Massive damage.
yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I think you feel more comfortable at this range,
So
where yeah.
the reason why I'm feeling more comfortable at this range is doing spin knuckle. I'm going to be spaced out enough that
Hmm.
I'll be plus, and it's going to be hard for you to stuff it if I think you're going to throw a fireball.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
or if I want to be really goofy, I can medium spiral arrow from this range,
Hmm.
and then it's not going to be incredibly minus. So that's sort of why the two ranges I think I tend to play at are like this range and then like crouch medium kick range, and
Yeah.
then nothing outside of those two ranges.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tough to. Obviously, you want to use your get in tool here, and I think even Hooligan works kind of well from this range too, right? You can kind
Yeah.
of bait like you can bait them to walk forward. If they aren't, ready, you might be able to get them with a throw or an overhead or even a dive kick, right?
Or the do nothing hooligan is something
Yeah,
I'd
the
use
the
with
one she
this
slides
range
on the
as
ground.
well.
Yeah,
The slide,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So again, I don't hate this range for Cammy. In this situation, neutral, the game just started and all that. But it is very difficult for her to win from here, right? The point of playing at
Right.
this range is so that your get in tools work better, right? And I think you get
Yes.
the idea there, and I think you're good there. Definitely, if I throw a fireball here, I'm dead to spin knuckle, right? It's very difficult to stuff the spin knuckle, like you said, because the active frames will be out by the time I can react and push a button. So I don't hate the spacing, but you can't live here, right? You have to
Right.
use it, abuse it so that abuse it so that you can get in, right? Make
Hmm.
me uncomfortable as the Ken player, where I can't throw a fireball to cover my drive rush anymore, right? So I think you do a good job of that actually. Oh, you tried.
Well, except I try to spin knuckle.
You
I'm
tried to
just
spin
too
knuckle, yeah.
late.
It was a little late, and that's okay, right? I mean, the game plan was there, right? So,
Yeah.
but see, this is the situation I'm talking about, right? Is that you're using the spacing to try to prevent me from being able to do that fireball drive rush that I'm such a huge fan of.
Hmm.
So I try to throw fireball here, and then I notice you didn't spin knuckle or react to it in a way that would get around it, so then I can drive rush behind it, right? So
Hmm.
for someone like Ken, Akuma, maybe like Aki, right? They really reliant on that drive rush fireball to kind of clear space to get in. So as Cammy, if you're able to spin knuckle or even like a dive kick, I think like if you had jumped up
Hmm.
and dive kicked here, it might work. But again, I may be buffering DP behind this, right? So, but
Hmm.
since I see you block, yeah, I don't have to, right? You can't jump anymore, right? So anyway, I land the Hey You parry, which is a good option here, right? If you got perfect parry, that would have been better. I think you went
Yeah.
for it, but don't always get it there. So good, good. Here you blocked, right?
Hmm.
I didn't delay. Maybe I didn't delay enough, or maybe you just recognized what's
No,
happening.
I
But
just didn't do anything. I'm just
you're just
blocking.
blocking, which is good. This is what we want, right? This is what we want to see. So now I get more space back here, right? And now this spacing here, right? Both crouching medium kicks are actually a little bit of a threat, right? Your like Ken's and Cammy's are both a bit of a threat here, right? If either one of us walks up or whiffs one, the other person can whiff punish, no problem, right? So this spacing right here, you have to try to get a little more comfortable playing in, because this is where Cammy kind of makes her makes her money, right? That crouching medium
Hmm.
kick, right outside of crouching medium kick range, or really close to it, and being able to whiff punish or punish, me walking up, right?
Yeah,
So
and I back out slightly,
yeah,
and
and you can see what I do too is I get super passive, right? I don't even right, and then here I start trying to adjust the spacing to where I felt like you were uncomfortable,
mm,
right? So I move a little bit here, you move a lot, I move a little bit again, right? I'm trying to see if you're gonna press the button as you walk up, because you had done that before. You walk up, press crouch, medium kick, right? So I'm trying to,
hmm,
if you will, I'm trying to match your rhythm on how you want to press the button, so that I can disrupt that by pressing a button when you're not expecting me to, if that makes sense, right? It's kind of like the footsies dance, if you will. You go for a jump here. Again, I don't DP it, and it's actually very difficult to DP that. So, but this was good. You land it low enough too. So this is a very well spaced dive kick, right? Unfortunately, I challenge because I maybe didn't think you were close enough and just went for it and it ended up working. I think like maybe you were a little bit late on the jab, is what it looks like.
yeah. I'm
So
curious after the dive kick if I was plus, because I think I would be after that.
you're +2.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just late
Yeah. So if
because that
this,
should have hit.
yeah. So it actually came out safer. So if you had pressed it immediately, that would have stuffed my jab. So I didn't I was wrong on how close that was. It was actually very, you would have definitely stuffed whatever I was doing had you pressed immediately, right?
Mm,
You're 2 frames off, and unfortunately that ends up costing you the light
yeah,
confirm, right? Because you would confirm that into like a stand light kick
for
spiral arrow,
sure.
right? So
But
yep, I don't hate that parry after. I think that's fine. If I had went for like a button or something that was a little bit faster, I think that would have caught it. Yeah, and then again, you go for a walk up, crouching medium kick, drive rush, right?
yeah,
Again, very tough because this has probably been working for you because when you walk up, people back up, right?
yeah,
Like I feel like that happens for you a lot probably because
yep.
Cammy's scary, right? Cammy walking at you is scary, right? That's like Geef level scary, right? So people will back up, right? But since I don't do that, you end up hitting, going for the buffer, like you overshoot a little bit, and the buffer gets you, right? Because you're trying to buffer crouch, drive rush behind it, right? And then go for
What
that.
do you mean I overshoot?
So if you look at this, right, when you press here, this space,
Hmm.
Cammy's crouching medium kick would likely hit if I was like, if you see where my cursor is,
Hmm.
like if I was standing How do I say this? If I
Oh,
was
I
standing
see.
here,
I'm
it would hit.
closer than I
You're
need to
closer than you
be.
need to be, right? That's what I mean by overshoot. And I think the reason you're doing that is because most people would back up in this situation, right?
Mm,
So like if I, and let's test it, right? So if I switch to me and I just back up, right? You're off a little bit actually.
okay, well,
So
fine.
yeah, that's what it is, right? But if I did nothing, it also would have whiffed, right? So
Yeah.
it looks like what actually happens here? Let's go back. Okay. So I stopped moving and block. Okay.
I see.
So
Yeah, you do back up.
I do
You
back up a
just
little bit.
then
Yeah. It looks like my timing
block
on the
low.
block though is maybe a little. My sense of when to block is maybe a little bit better. Right? I don't back up as
Yeah.
much here. But yeah, that is something that you kind of have to be careful of the crouching medium kick range. Is if you are going to walk up and do it, you do have to be a little careful of like the whiff range, if you will, right? I know right now you're kind of walking up a little bit closer than you need to be, expecting them to back up and it'll tag them, right? But you just have to watch that range because if you had whiffed that and I was paying, very close attention to that, that's a whiff punish too, right? So
Yeah.
again, that's just the footsie, the footsie's dance, if you will, and at a higher level. And I think you're gonna get there, right? I think you have a good sense of when to press and when to get up. It's just that people have so far been respecting Cammy a little too much, right?
Yeah.
And you're able to take advantage of that, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Like if your opponents are giving you that, take every inch, right? Like don't even think twice about it. But once they stop allowing that to happen is when you have to make adjustments. This is fine. I think you have plus frames, right?
Yeah, I'm plus on after that. I should be.
Right.
Yeah.
So something that I've noticed, and I'm just noticing now, is that there's usually gaps from when you press here.
Hmm.
So the something that you can do is maybe try to press a little bit sooner after the block, right? The reason this becomes important later on is because when your frame advantage is tight, so like if you're only +2 or +3, if you're a couple of frames off from the actual jab, and we saw that earlier, right, with the dive kick, it could cost you the combo, right? It could cost you the
Yeah.
plus frames, right? So,
So how do I uh press sooner? Like,
yeah. So, something to keep in mind is that SF6 has a frame buffer, right? So, or input buffer rather. So, what that means is that you can press up to, I think it's 5 frames early. So, 4 frames of pre-input, and then the actual frame it comes out. So, what you can do is you can go in the lab and practice pressing at different timings after the crouching heavy punch is blocked, and you can see when it makes sense to press. You actually have a 5 frame window after, right?
hmm.
So remember, whenever a move hits in Street Fighter 6, right, there's something gonna happen. There's like the block stun and then the hit stop, or the hit stop and then the block stun, right? So the block stun is applied to the other player, and that's what causes the plus and minus piece. There's also hit stop that freezes both players for a certain number of frames, right? And what that does is it allows you to react to things and give you a little bit more buffer to press things, right? So that's just lab work, I think. Spend some time in the lab going through block strings, right? This situation in particular is probably a pretty important one for Cammy because that crouching heavy punch comes out a lot for a lot of Cammys when they on block, right? You're gonna do it on block.
Right.
So being able to take advantage of the plus frames, right? And make sure that you're a little bit more airtight, right? Because if I match jab here, I'm actually gonna lose, right? Because it's plus enough where I can't really do anything. But it takes away some of the plus frames that you have here. So if this wasn't airtight and I
Right.
decided to DP right here, it would have this is enough. This is enough a window right here. This 1 frame right here is enough for it to DP to come out,
Yeah.
right? So something to keep in mind. And I know you're also thinking about your motion inputs, right? You're also thinking about all this other stuff, so it's tough to keep it in mind. But it's just one of the things that you continue to work on as you
Well,
go.
I think this set I did hardly any motion inputs, so I don't think that's
Okay,
what's going on here.
good
Yeah, I'm
DP,
just
good dive kick. Tough right there on the combo
oh.
drop. Yeah, I think
So yeah, what did happen there? I think that was a spacing misjudgment. I think I was out of range for the second jab. I should have just done one jab spiral arrow.
yeah, jab
Like, was
or
that a drop or did I just like? I think it was just the range.
yeah, the second jab whiffs.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just out of range.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
here you can go straight into spiral arrow, or I think stand light kick. Right, should work.
I don't have stand light kick, so
Oh,
I
okay.
it's just single jab
Single jab
spiral
crawl.
arrow.
That would have worked.
Yeah,
And actually, I
yeah,
do that. I actually do that too when I play Cammy. If I land a dive kick, I just go jab spiral arrow. I don't think about
yeah.
any other buttons there. I know there's some Cammies that are like, oh, if it certain heights and punish counter, you can press certain buttons, but I'm just like, light punch fire arrow, take the damage, right?
Right.
Yeah, but not having stand like kick is a little tough. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think again, what happens here? Oh, you go for a throw. I'm assuming.
Yep, I
Yeah.
go for a throw.
Yeah. So that's really difficult to deal with. The drive rush. The drive rush behind a fireball, especially when you're burned out, right? So this is really tough. I'm not sure, what the if there's a really good solution other than to try not to get into it in the first place, because you have no meter, no meter,
I have no super.
no super, right? Like I'm not afraid of anything right now. I'm just gonna keep pressing, right? So
Yeah. Okay, then I have level 1. Do I try to do something with level 1 here?
you get out of
Let
the
me try.
corner. You get tagged walking back. Okay. I get space again, trying to bait something out. You get tagged walking
Oh
back.
god,
Again.
I get tagged walking back again.
I get your meter back here. Go for the DI. Right, and then so the difference in why this works here for me is that like you've been doing the similar thing like the jab, crouching medium kick. The difference here is that it's plus frames. Right. So it's actually frame tight. You can't see the advantage here, but I am +3 after that jab. So that's why I can press there, right? So you can do the same thing with Cammy, right? You do the drive rush into a jab, and then you can press crouching medium kick there because you're plus, right? So it should work out for you, I think, or at least at worst it'll trade. But you can press in that situation that crouching medium kick there, right? So something to keep in mind, when you do the drive rush and it's blocked, and you do a jab, right? You're plus. You can go for a crouching medium kick there if you think they're not going to press right away, right? Or you think they're going to back up. It's because you're plus enough to be able to do that, right? You're not too afraid of like a challenge in that case. So something to keep in mind as you go through. And then you get tagged, and that's kind of it, right? So unfortunate.
Good drat.
Darn.
That darn Ken.
All right. So yeah, here you backed up far enough for your spiral arrow to hit. So I think that's good recognition on your part to know that range, because I would have had no idea. If you had spiral arrow over there and I blocked it, I would have tried to press something big and got punished for it. So that was good recognition on your part there. Okay, so after this, spiral arrow hits. So
I should dash.
I think you might want, yeah, I was gonna say dash or drive rush, right? So potentially, I don't play Cammy enough, and I'm not able to land spiral arrows in neutral the same way you are. But I think here you get an opportunity to pressure me.
Yeah, I should either dash or drive rush after. Well,
Oh,
I should not do
this
that.
is modern, huh? Shoot, it gives me modern too. Okay. Oh, what's the? Nope. Well, what I will say is that I think drive rush into like stand heavy punch, whatever that is for you. I'm guessing it's auto.
It's auto 3
Auto 3?
if you
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I can't map my brain to that, but that would probably
Yeah,
be
yeah,
it,
yeah.
I think it would be, let's see. Okay, this and this. All right. Okay, I won't be able to do it, but I think you get the idea, right?
That's fine.
You want to go for potentially want to go for some pressure here, right? It's an opportunity that you haven't knocked me down too much, so I think an opportunity like that in neutral is a good way to try to get plus frames on me, right? Like be able to apply some pressure in my face and force me to make a decision, right?
So this is one of the biggest I don't know what blind spots in my game is that I like cannot reliably drive rush.
Oh, really?
Which is why you're seeing me do nothing but drive rush cancels. Yeah. So that's why I'm not drive rushing in neutral. They should probably learn at some point how to like drive rush. It seems like a valuable tool, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's worth learning. I think Cammy doesn't get as much reward for the raw drive rush because hers isn't as great, I think. But if you're able to get plus frames on a stand heavy punch against a Ken that's waking up, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
You want to apply pressure to me, force me to make decisions and stuff. Because here I get up for free, right? I think.
Yeah.
So
I think it is a case of like character specific blind spots where like because Cammy's ride on Drive Rush isn't that great,
Hmm.
you can kind of get by without ever doing it. But
It's
at
worth
some
learning.
point,
Yeah, it's worth learning.
Drive Rush is
Yeah.
like maybe useful, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, you get the plus frames, right, from the stand heavy punch if you landed on. It's really the only way she can pressure two on back roll anyway. Like when you land like a heavy arrow or a medium arrow in neutral, right, after a combo or something like that. If I'm not in the corner and I back roll and there's space, like drive rush is one of the few ways she can get back in, right? In the corner,
Hmm.
you just do the dash, right, and you're plus like a million or whatever. You can press stand heavy punch, and you're like so plus, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. But in mid screen like that, and again, given the meter situation, it probably makes sense to go for a raw driver. So you spend a bar, get some plus frames. Maybe you catch me sleeping, pressing,
yeah,
something like that. And stand heavy punch or drivers is huge for you, right? You can confirm that into your target combo, right?
yeah.
Target combo
Oh,
top
for
takedown.
sure.
So
That is the
yeah,
right option in that
yeah,
situation, I think.
I get that.
Especially when I haven't really gotten much pressure going. Like it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, spend the freaking meter.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah. I mean, you know, one bar to get plus frames on a Ken waking up force the situation. It's not a bad idea. Early in the round
Yeah.
like this, even if you eat a reversal, the meter difference is still one bar. You've taken a little bit more damage, and you're back to neutral, right? At worst, right? So it's not the end of the world to eat a reversal there. But the upside is so huge, right? If
Right.
you hit me, counter hit me or whatever, you get a huge combo. On block, you force a mix up, right? Now you can strike throw or something like that. Or if something else happens like a parry or whatever else, you'll be able to deal with that, right? Now basically the idea is you're putting the defensive player into a decision making process, right? And every time you have to make a decision in this game, it's taxing, right? Like you can see as the set went on, I was putting you in a lot of situations where you had to guess what was going to happen next, right? And if you did nothing, you would just get thrown or whatever else, right? So it's one of the things that I think as you get climb up through diamond, you're going to see that more and more as you're constantly being taxed mentally, right? The mental stack is
Hmm.
taxed on what to do, right? And you being able to do that to your opponent is also huge, right? Because I'm human too, right? On the other end, it's a human being for the most part, right? Pressing buttons the same way, right? So they get taxed the same way. So it's a good challenge here. I think I went for like a walk up jab and I missed it.
Mm.
So this was a good challenge. I think it would have got stuffed if I had timed it correctly or if I had went for something else. But I think it worked.
Yeah,
It
I'm
worked
not
out.
sure
So
this was actually a good challenge. This feels like a
it worked out.
fortunate
Fortunately,
challenge.
yeah.
Yeah.
It worked out though, right? If I had missed or anything else, right? I mean, it in an airtight situation, maybe not, but in this situation, you went for it and it worked, right? So again, was it the wrong
Yeah.
decision?
Successful
Hard to
challenge.
say, but it worked out, right? Yeah, but it was good confirmed though, for sure.
Hmm.
Good follow up too, right? So that was pretty good, right? So catch for sleeping, and then you go for a situation here where I have to guess, right? So
Yeah.
this sequence right here is probably one of the better offensive sequences you did all set, right? You knocked me down and put me into a guessing situation, right? Using the OD hooligan. Because here I think you can throw me too, right? With that setup.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
So I have to guess high low, right?
Yeah.
And if I parry, I get counter hit thrown, right? So I just I guess throw, and I am wrong, right? And you hit me and you get a conversion, right? Yeah, and then I reversal, right? But
Right. Yeah.
that's okay too, right? That's part of the game, right? Is
Right.
that you're gonna. But I will say that something that I think Schogberg talks about this a lot. To shout him out, is that a lot of people will reversal after the third interaction they lose, right? So
Wait, after the third interaction or
the
after?
third interaction they lose, they'll reversal. Sorry, I will say it that way.
Okay, got it. So
Yeah,
the second, like, two losses, and then the third one, it's like, oh, I'm
yeah. Oh
getting
shit, I'm gonna
reversal.
reversal. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Generally speaking, now not always. That doesn't always happen, and sometimes I'm conscious about it, right? But a lot of people will take will lose three. There's one, two,
Ew.
reversal, right?
Right.
So, uh, it's almost human nature. I don't know what it is. It happens so often.
Rule of
Yeah,
threes.
rule of threes, right? I think he might even call it that. I'm not sure. Uh, but he talks about that a lot in replay reviews and stuff. Is that people tend to reversal after the turn. So in this interaction, like okay, you've won two interactions. Let's not overextend and see if they try to do
Hmm.
something right. Like maybe you bait me by doing that dash and then blocking or something like that, and then I lose a huge amount of health for the block reversal, right? Like
Right.
look at all of this meter you have to spend, right,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make it hurt, right? So All right, so we're back to the outside of the range here. Try to walk up, and then you
Yeah.
walk up, and I think you drive rush behind us, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I
again,
got one trick, man.
so it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's really hard to get a sense of how to play this kind of footsies based neutral game, because it's not always the same against every character, every character, even every person, right? Or even the texture between matches or games in the same set, right? What someone can be doing in neutral can adjust maybe even the next interaction, right? But me as like the master player or whatever, will probably generally have slightly better neutral, like we'll have a better sense of this. But
Right.
as you climb up, you'll get a sense of like the actual ranges you need to be standing in, what type of ranges you want to stand in to force me to press buttons, what type of ranges you want to be pressing buttons, right? That's one of the things that like, neutral is very 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 hard to get good at, right? Like even me at this point, I still struggle with it like all the time, right? It's so hard
Yep.
to get good at that. I think that if your Cammy's face is hilarious. If your sense, if your game sense is telling you to walk up and press a button, and I'm blocking all the time, maybe consider doing something else, right? Maybe you walk in and out of that range to see if I press a button, right? Or maybe
Hmm.
you wait for me to come to you a little bit, like maybe you stand outside the range and wait for me to walk up, right? Maybe there's something else you could be doing here, besides walking up crouching medium kick. You can still be looking for it. Don't get me wrong. You can still be looking for the crouching
Yeah.
medium kick as a whiff punish option, but a lot of this game, especially with someone like Cammy, it's not just the threat of the threat of the button is what causes the reaction, right? And a big
Hmm.
reason for that is because of her walk speed. So if you walk in and out of range, the Ken has to make a decision if he thinks you're gonna press or not, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, I just assume you're gonna press, so I just block. Right? I don't. I mean,
Right.
my back walk speed is slower than your forward walk speed, so I can't get out of the way, right? Like at that point. So my only option to not get tagged is to block or potentially press something faster, but at that range it may whiff, right? So that's something you'll have to play around with more. And there's a great video called the Footsie's Trilemma, which I always tell people about. I'm pretty sure you've seen it, or at least I've
I
sent it
feel
out.
like I've seen it or
Okay.
heard of it.
Yeah. Basically talks about that aspect of the game, right? The neutral portion, which I think would help you a lot because where and I think you nailed it. Where you're struggling a lot is you're trying to get in with crouching medium kick because that is quote unquote the proper way to play. And for the most part, it is a low risk way to play. But you have to factor in what the opponent is doing, right? The opponent's not just gonna let you walk in and do that for the most part, right? So,
Right. Well, I think in this set specifically, like it's you're making it difficult for me to get in other ways,
mhm,
right? You're not like throwing random fireballs
mhm,
in neutral. You're not like doing random shit. And
mhm.
so it makes it potentially be even more reliant on that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I talked about this in the last I'm gonna call it an episode, I guess. Last episode where the reason footsies exist is because it's a response to both players being able to check that stuff, right?
Right.
Like or and at that point, like we respect each other enough where we don't do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking less risks overall. Like Dragon Lash is a kind of a risk, right? Drive Rush is kind of a risk with those things. So I'm lowering the amount of risks I take, and that's what forces this kind of footsies based play, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's a good recognition on your part though that is what's happening. It's just now you have to figure out
Well,
how to get
I
past
mean,
that. Yeah.
like, it's partly like, how many fireballs have you thrown this set? You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make much sense for me to be like, oh, I think I'm going to call out a fireball if you,
Hmm.
like, have done it twice over the course of 3 games.
Yeah,
Like,
I think I've
so,
thrown 3 fireballs in the 2 games we've
right.
watched, and 2 of them were in this
So,
game or the
yeah.
previous game, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I will say that I am doing that as a response to your spacing and the fact that you're
Hmm.
playing modern, right? So
Yeah.
I have to respect the spin knuckle reaction, right? Because you don't need to buffer it. So,
So you don't kind of like
mhm.
fireball is since they changed spin knuckle, it's
That's true.
so hard to react. It's much more of a prediction than a reaction.
I
It
guess that's a
used
good
to
point.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're updating your 10 flowchart, it used to be like you're not allowed to fireball against modern, and now you kind of
You kind of
are.
can. Yeah.
Unless they have level 3, in which case you can't, but
Yeah. That. Yeah. Yeah. Flash has made me realize that so many times. So what happens here now,
it's
right?
hilarious.
Yeah. So let's go back to this. So a reversal here, right?
Reversal, there's
Fireball,
the fireball, and I just back up again,
yep.
and then we're rinsing and
And then
repeating.
this same situation happens, right?
Yeah.
Challenge. Go for throw again, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, again, like airtight block string will stop that from coming out, right? Delay jab is strong against this because it doesn't get blown up by an airtight string. Like you have to call out the delay jab by doing a delay button. Your alternative here is actually to back up, I believe. So it's going to be a little bit awkward, I think, to try to show this, but let's see if we can get it to... I want the jab. Okay, we actually want a little bit before this. So right here, I think. So the jab is hit, right? Now, I'm not sure what Modern gets here, so let's just kind of...
What Modern gets in terms of what?
Like what the button would be. Okay.
Oh, in terms of what are you trying to input?
Yeah, let's see what happens. So what I'm trying to do is create a little bit of space, right? So that the jab whiffs, but it looks like because that jab is so deep and because you're only +2, you can't really back up. So your option here would be to likely just continue the string, right? Now I'm hitting the right. So the Ken is hitting the crouching medium kick because that's, or crouching medium punch because that's what he's meant to input, right? Right, but potentially he doesn't do that if you do that, right?
So more jabs to just force greater distance?
Yeah, you're trying to space out of the... so that may not work in real life because you may not press a crouching medium punch there. But the idea is that you don't want to lose the delay jab, right? And the reason for that is because Ken gets a huge reward from that, right? So you're effectively stopping the delay jab from coming out by hitting more lights, like the 3 light string or whatever, 3 lights into nothing, but you know what I mean, right? You can hit 3 lights and you'll be spaced out and you'll be minus your turns over and all that. Like that's, everyone talks about that. But yeah, doing that will give you some space back, right? That way, and Ken gets pushed back, right? So he ends up losing a little bit of space there. But the idea is that you are now stopping the delay jab from becoming a thing. It's very difficult to punish it, but at least you're not losing to it now, right? So you can do the 2 jabs there. Additionally, if you do multiple jabs, you're actually mixing up the option that you're going to go for, right? So far you've only shown me one thing.
I've only done jab throw,
right? So if you do something else, potentially like 2 jabs into a throw or something like that, that could be what you do, right? So 1, 2, and then you walk up throw or something like that, right? So maybe Ken doesn't press the crouching medium punch there because he's not going to be pressing anymore. Like maybe he's delay teching or something like that. But you can force the mix up now, right? So you can force them to do something else other than being able to always beat you with one defensive option, right? Because if you do 2 jabs, what happens, right? Now I have to decide again if I want to do delay jab or delay tech, right? Or some other defensive option. And at that point, you can mix up what's happening because you have a little more space to work with, right? So you can back up, right? Try to punish a delay tech. You can continue with your jab string to just continue pressing out, right? And creating the space. Or you can walk up throw at that point, right? But at least now there's another layer being added there, right? But yeah, at least in this game, in this set we played, you only showed me that option, right? So I only had for it, right? So something to think about is the varying some of the options that you run in, that you do after drive versus block, right? Because a block drive rush happens all the time, right? I mean, like crouching block drive rush, it happens all the time. So it's just a matter of you as the Cammy player trying to force a situation where I as a Ken player have to react, right? So, okay. So here on the Jinrai, don't press.
Yeah.
If you're gonna try that, there's a delay timing you can try. But yeah, it's tough to press there.
Oh my god, you actually...
I know, I DP'd. Okay. I was like, oh, I think I said it on stream. It's like, oh man, I got a DP.
Oh, I wasn't listening to this stream, but... Oh, and then this... Wow,
this was sick.
Okay. I feel like that was more of a prediction than a reaction.
Yeah. Also, don't try not to reversal as the last interaction.
Yeah.
I know Fox talks about that all the time, right? Is that it becomes... I mean, of course you have to, right? Like you're gonna lose otherwise, but it becomes it's a layer that you have to think about. So yeah, I guess the 2 things that the biggest takeaways, I think, besides some of the lab work you have to do for like motion inputs and that type of thing, the biggest one would be, I think, watching when you want to try to back up out of that uncomfortable spacing. Be willing to block and maybe try to challenge with a button after my button. Something to think about. And then the other thing would be after a blocked drive rush, varying the options that you get there, right? And then on the heels of that, this is more lab work, I guess, would be trying to figure out the spacing that you're try to get more comfortable in the crouching medium kick space, right? Try to get an idea of where the tip of that actually is and how to dance around that, right? Force me to press buttons against you or something like that, if that makes sense. Because a lot of where I was beating you in these two games, if you notice, was those two situations, right? You're backing up and tagging crouching medium kick, or I'm challenging you on the drive rush jab because you've only shown me one option behind it, right?
Yeah.
So makes sense. Hopefully. Yep. Any questions you have? And do you have time for a third? I know we went over a little bit, but do you have time for?
Yeah. I have time for another set.
Perfect.
Stop watching the stream. I'm gonna say shut up, Discord.
All right, so I'm not gonna deafen this time, so we can talk the whole time if you want. But
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So don't worry about it too much. Just be like normal lobby night. I go ahead and queue up in anyone, and we grab the slot.
I feel like I was P1 last time,
sure.
So we'll switch it up with P2.
So remember, if you block the drive rush, be willing to press more buttons, and try not to back up as much in those situations, in those uncomfortable spacing. I think you can have.
Or I'll try to, I don't know, back up at a different time.
Vary the timing, or just jab. Press buttons.
Okay. Oh boy, press more
buttons to get me out of your space, right? Nice.
There we go. Nice. More buttons. See?
My jab didn't come out, right?
Oh fuck, wrong one.
That was nice. Ooh. Nice.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that actually worked. Okay.
Oh. How much better was that? Right?
Yeah. Oh, well, now it just okay, fine. But I could see like mixing it up caused it to actually
I couldn't just press that time, right? I had to actually react to something.
Whoops. Whoops.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Please. No. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that actually worked.
Nice. That was a good jump.
Yeah.
But you see the difference in the set now, right? Like, I can't just be mindlessly defensive, choosing a defensive option anymore. I have to think about it.
Mm-hmm. It's because my voice is so distracting. Yeah. I got the relaxed, like... Oh, I fucking hate that. That shit is so annoying to land.
Oh,
and that's spaced wrong. Yeah, the conversion after the crouch. The crouch, or the spin knuckle.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, that actually worked. This is kind of dumb. This is not going to kill. Alright, well, whatever. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do!
Oh no.
Oh no! Okay. Shit. That was unfortunate.
Let's call out.
Oh, fuck the overhead.
The overhead. That was nice.
Oh, whoops.
Ooh.
God damn it. Now you're starting to see more execution errors where I'm like just dropping shit or doing shit that I don't mean to do.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, I pressed again there.
Yeah, Hatsube's saying
I should just go for after I get the spin knuckle jab spiral arrow. Like I should stop trying to fucking do the optimal stuff.
yeah, I think it's a better, it's a more consistent option. Oh, that was nice. Nice challenge. Oh, that was sick.
Oh no. Oh my god, that was so risky by me. Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
that was nice. Ooh, okay.
What? Oh, interesting. Oh. Oh no, nice.
That was close.
Also, the fact that Ken yells, bring in the heat before his big. Like, what? What a lame phrase.
Oh, better than no more games.
Yes, way worse than No More Games. No More Games sounds badass. Bring in the heat sounds like you're at a Bobby Flay restaurant. Like, oh my god,
Hit you with that
dude.
sizzling fajitas.
Yeah, right. Like,
That was nice.
what? Oh, nice. That was nice. Okay. I don't know why I was mashing there. That was not good.
That's a tough situation to mash in. I think you're not gonna get away with too
Yeah.
much there. Oh, I didn't confirm. Uh-oh. Nice.
Oh my goodness. There's our first motion drop of the game. Okay. But that's again a case where I haven't warmed up at all, so
Yeah, it's just lab work.
my execution's probably going to be worse. Normally, I would have a decent chance at least of hitting that.
Oh, that was sick.
No. Yeah.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So you can see that the main difference that's been happening is I'm not punishing you on the stuff that I was punishing you before, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
Oh.
Wow, that was dangerous.
Oh, stuff the... Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was incorrectly spaced jab for sure. Oh, good bait.
Yeah, that was tough. I actually went for a delayed jab on the other side to try to bait that, um, and it worked.
Hmm.
Cool. So, a lot better, right? A lot better. I
Yeah.
think it felt like you had a better grasp on what needs to happen in neutral. And because you saw like you weren't really backing up as much, I couldn't get away with free crouching medium kicks anymore, right? I had to cancel in a Jinrai or something else that gives you an opportunity to get away with, to get out of the pressure. I think that you did a lot better on the drive rush blocks, right? I had to
Hmm.
guess, right? I had to
Right.
try to do something else, and you saw what happened, right? You landed throws, you landed additional hits, right? Like the light strings ended up sometimes counter hitting me if I was doing the wrong thing. But because of that mix up happening, it opens up more opportunity for you. So now you can start going for that
Right.
jab throw, right? And you did, and you landed a couple of them. So yeah. Otherwise, that was fantastic, right? The advice came in, it made sense, and you applied it
Hmm.
right away, and it made a difference, right? You took a game from me here. And I will say for everyone in chat, I'm trying as hard as I can to crush everybody that comes on the show, right? I'm not giving anything away to anybody. So that was legitimately a good round from you. So cool. Any last questions before we wrap up?
Um, Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but this was a great show. Thanks so much for doing it.
Awesome.
Hope the viewers in the chat enjoyed. I don't know.
Yeah. Got people
I
in
don't
chat
know if
calling
you
me
have a
fans.
tag like you've been watching,
Yeah, I
sit
know.
down and shut up
I don't
with
have a line.
Juzzy.
But
You
we'll
don't
say,
like dab at the end of the
you
stream.
know, right? I will say that I want to thank Fight Rise for helping me put the show together, and all of you guys out there that want to watch this. If you found this interesting, please feel free to join the Fight Rise Discord. Their information is down below. I'm also part of the Newbie Fight Club. We do lobby nights, and you can meet people and play games with them at your level or above. So feel free to join the Discord if you found this session interesting to you enough, where you want to be on the show at some point. Take a look at the Fight Rise Discord. Take a look under training requests. You'll see a thread. You can put your name down, and yeah, we'll get to you when we get to you. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. And Splash, you've been great. I hope that
Yep.
was really helpful for you. It was awesome. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye all.